Good morning to Mary's True Crime channel here on YouTube. As always, like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. This way you can receive future videos coming from me into your email box so it's not hard to miss, and I invite all of you to watch any or all of the videos that I have produced over the past couple of months now, and I choose to be the voice of victims out there. And first of all, I really want to thank Duty Ron, who recommended my channel on his live chat last night where he was discussing David Ortiz being shot in the Dominican Republic, and I hope David Ortiz is healing nicely today. And, you know, Duty Ron's recommendation to my channel is heartfelt. And the reason why is because he is a retired New York City police detective. And he speaks from experience on true crime. So I invite all of my subscribers to go over to Duty Ron's page and click subscribe to his channel as well. And you can get a perspective of how law enforcement works coming from him. There's no speculation, only facts on his channel, and that's what I admire about him. And I would also like to thank Wafa Assad for linking up numerous videos of mine to her page. She has a unique way of covering true crime, and she does it in an almost humorous way, but getting the facts out there. And I invite all of you to go onto her channel as well. And even one video where I was discussing porn found on one man's computer, I turned it into kind of humorous, to borrow style from her. And so please click on those channels as well. You will be highly rewarded. But on to my case today. I grew up on Long Island, and Long Island is known for its beaches. It's fun. It's visiting the farm stands within the fall. It's known for its suburban sprawl, communities coming together in support of each other, but sometimes not. Now, a while back, I discussed the case of Raymond Rodeo III, who ran a prostitution ring right here in Sound Beach, my own community. And we were all appalled, but we shouldn't be, because this type of crime has been going on for a long time, where sex workers who are addicted to opioids or any type of addictive drug, who need that drug, are being pimped out for prostitution. And their reward is getting more drugs from these gang members, from these pimps. And over the past 8 years, 3,700 have been found dead. That's 3,700 women who were mothers, who were children, who were aunts, who were nieces, being killed. at the hands of drug addiction and prostitution. And it almost harkens back to the Gary Ridgway case, who was known as the Green River Killer, who targeted, as some experts say, 70 women, 70 prostitutes in the Washington state area. Presently, he's serving life without parole in prison. To me, I think he should have gotten the death penalty, but the only way he would recant and name the numerous victims to law enforcement was a plea agreement where the death penalty was taken off the table. Here in New York, we had our own serial killer in Joel Rifkin, who operated here on Long Island. He would drive into the city and target prostitutes, sometimes bringing them home. He would then dismember his victims and dispose of them in numerous locales. Thankfully, he is locked up for life. And that's the way it should be. So yes, Raymond Rodeo III was only the tip of the iceberg. I came across a Newsday article exactly linking drug addiction to prostitution, and where law enforcement are beginning to make the transformation from thinking of prostitutes as criminals to victims and trying to get them the help that they need through rehabilitation, through occupational training, and to help them moving forward away from the dark underbelly here on Long Island. And those law enforcement agencies are to be commended in doing so. And I have to read you a quote coming from a woman who runs a center here on Long Island. Excuse the glasses, but I have to read. And this quote states it all. Human trafficking victims need help, not jails, expert says. And that's according to her. Yes, that's what they need. They don't need to be locked up. The person or people that deserve to be locked up or their pimps or these gang members. As far as I'm concerned, throw away the key. Oftentimes, gang members or these pimps, we'll just call them predators, will tattoo the prostitute, the sex worker, the human being, as being owned by them. So they are reminded on a daily basis that they are owned and not liberated. Thanks to an Islandia cosmetic surgeon, Scott Blyer, he is removing these tattoos from these victims so they don't have to look in the mirror anymore or look at their body and see that they're owned by a predator. And I want to thank him because he stepped up to the plate to be part of the solution here on Long Island and for these women. In this article, it states Long Island is one of the top 20 spots for sex trafficking, said Detective Lieutenant Frank Messina, who commands Suffolk's Human Trafficking Investigation Unit and runs training sessions for cops on how to handle the problem. We're number 20 in this problem countrywide, or within 20 locales. And that's not something to be proud of, folks. It is showing our dark underbelly here on Long Island. And somehow, over the years, it must change. Most victims are in their 20s or 30s, authorities said, but some are much younger. Suffolk County Police arrested 2 Central Islip men in December on trafficking-related charges after they tried to persuade a 12-year-old girl who had run away from a group home with a 17-year-old girl to become a prostitute. The same men, authorities said, turned the 17-year-old friend into a sex worker when she was just 13. That tags also into child abuse and using a child for sex, which is one of the most heinous crimes I could think of out there. These children who should be in school learning and going on with life are being turned into sex workers, and it's got to stop. I don't know what the answer is, but within this article I'm finding clues on how we address this through law enforcement's changing of their way in thinking of how prostitutes are in reality. They are victims. And social agencies coming together with ideas on how to starve the predators from their victims. And social agencies, law enforcement, working together to help these women and lock away the predators, to me, is a win-win situation. It's a no-brainer. You know, all of these drugs are so powerful, and I can't help but think how hard it is to get off of those type of drugs. You know, people abuse alcohol all the time and drugs. And I will tell you, as a person who has used drugs and alcohol in the past, thankfully I'm sober now, it's pretty hard to get off of drugs and alcohol. You need treatment. Thankfully, I never went down that road into having to sell myself to get my drugs. And I can't fathom how low these women must feel, where they must do this, sell their body in order to get their daily fix. And this is a problem that's going on within our nation and here on Long Island. I care about Long Island. I love Long Island. It's a place where my parents chose to raise me and where I chose to raise my children. And I want to have pride in the place that I live, but I will not look away from the problems that are occurring here on Long Island, where women are basically being treated as chattel. They're the true victims. You know, if you're a teenager or anyone thinking of trying drugs for the first time, heed my warning and say no. Walk away, run away as fast as humanly possible, or else you too could find yourself in the position of these women who are now hopefully healing in some instances and trying to move forward with their life. But many have died at the hands of drugs and at the hands of predators. And this is where we all must come together as a community to look for solutions that will only benefit our communities. Nobody wants to live in a community that has this type of crime. And I know I don't want to live in a community that has this type of crime, but thanks to Raymond Rodeo III, it's spotlighted. It can happen anywhere. So that is today's case that I wanted to bring you. And I hope that you've learned something from it, that these women are victims. They are not to be looked down upon in any way, shape, or form. They are our neighbors, our daughters, our nieces, our granddaughters, and even mothers. And they have the right to live a fruitful life, a loving life, a one filled with promise, like all of us do. So I thank you for viewing my channel today in this most difficult discussion, but that's what I'm all about. Opening up a broader discussion into topics that most will turn their backs on. So I hope that you have a good day. Please stay safe out there and enjoy yourself, but keep these women in mind as you go about your daily business. Thank you very, very much.